Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Saturday, the 14th of September, right? And this is the weekend. We do a Monday show, Monday through Friday show. It's called the Weekday, and that's available on podcasts, and so isn't today. But what are we going to talk about today? And it's talking about your happiness. And you're like, what is happiness? Is it a state of mind? Is it something that comes from accomplishing things? Well, stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. Yes, it is. It is Saturday, and I go off the rails on weekends. My name is Eric, and today we're going to talk about happiness. What is happiness? Is accomplishing things in your life that you want to provide happiness? I mean, if I were to ask you, what would be the one pivotal thing that would make you happy in life today, what would that be? Some would say winning the lottery, right? Having $1 million or $1 billion. Well, then why are all these successful people that are independently wealthy unhappy? Well, you just said money is what's going to make me happy. Well, how long will it make you happy? You see where I'm going with this? I talk about the mind. The mind is the mind. It's out to, stifle your feelings and, everybody's the same and I'm a prime example of that. But I think what brings the most happiness is a purpose and a love, right? We talked about how some people are very driven, all right? And they accomplish a lot of their goals. And they become successful. And I'm a person that tells you that if you're just looking for the end, becoming successful at whatever goal you are after, if you're looking for some kind of a deep inside feeling that's going to last for a while because you've accomplished things, it's usually not going to be there. Because how long does it make you feel good? For a couple of minutes, a day, a week, a month, a year. But then you're driven again because you're longing for that happiness, that feeling good inside. And if you watch very many of my videos, I always tell you, it's not about the outcome. It's about the journey, the people we meet in the journey, and the relationships we have with others that will bring you happiness. Being happy is a state of mind, all right? And our mind doesn't train us to be happy all the time. We're not wired that way. Society says you're not supposed to be happy all the time. Society is kind of like you should be pissed at everything, right? But I can give examples in my own life, of when I started this venture on small engine repair, right? And when we first started, we were working out of my old heifer barn because I was a retired dairy farmer, basically. But we were working out of an old barn, poor lighting, no not much to speak of, just two of us. And we started climbing, and I saw, because at that time I was money driven, I was goal driven. I wanted to accomplish things in life that were better than myself, were bigger than myself. And money was a big part of it. And the goal should never be money or power. Because both of them can be taken away as easy as you got it. But starting out at those meager beginnings, I didn't have much. So I didn't have much to lose, right? And I was putting all this stuff into, how I was going to feel. And at the time I was in my my fourth year of my bachelor's degree. And all I was thinking was two things. Lord, let me get through this bachelor's degree. Because once I achieve it, then I will be deemed successful. And I wasn't programmed to be mediocre. I wasn't programmed and wired to be, all right, if I got just a passing grade through all those classes, courses, what have you, that I would be happy. No. This is not to brag. Top of my class, Honor Society for the 2-year program, Honor Society for the 4-year program, President of the Honor Society. Achievements with highest honor. And I walked across that stage. My wife and my 2 sisters and my daughter were there. And I felt great. I felt like I finally had accomplished something in my life that was going to make me happy. And I didn't enjoy the journey, the 4 years in school, even though I had numerous relationships I could have fostered and had really great friends. I was too busy studying and driving back and forth from home, right? Driving people crazy. But the same thing happened with the business. Is I wasn't enjoying the journey. I was goal driven, and I will feel happiness when I achieve that goal. And I kept adding goals because when I would achieve that goal, happiness was fleeting. It wasn't there very long. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why am I not happy? And that's a good question to ask yourself. So every month I saw growth, okay? Which you're going to in a startup. If you got nothing to start with, the only way is up, right? And it was tough the first year. And then I saw another way I could capitalize, right? And that was doing business online. Could anybody had done that? No. You would have had to been goal driven, work through the naysayers, and be committed because you could see something out there that nobody else saw. When I talked to people about buying parts online, they scoffed and laughed at me. Said it's never going to happen. Why would we do that? We can go right locally and get it. And one of the things that I saw locally was a lot of the parts were on back order. And most of the dealers in the area at that time, if you wanted a part, they put you on a sheet, all right? And at the end of the week, hopefully they had enough of an order to put in because they were trying to save money on postage. How do I know that? Because I did that along the way. But I wanted customers to be able to order and get it quickly. That was part of the theme, right? And that's what I built the business around. And for the first year and a half, 2 years, I'll tell you, we were just barely making it. But then something happened. Something happened where all of a sudden I started selling more product online than I was locally. And I hired Krista, my niece, to come in and help because now it was becoming bigger than just Claude and I, right? So I kind of put her semi in charge of that, but I kept doing the behind the scenes scripting and everything else, programming, and every month it got better and better and better. And when my goal was to sell $10,000 in parts online. And at the time, it sounded unrealistic, right? But then that came and went. So I started looking at 20,000, 40,000. And every time I would reach that plateau, you would think I would be happy. And I was. But but only for just so long something was lacking. It would disappear and it would come in and my mind would go, if I only did this much more, I'll be happy. And this much more. I was thrilled to look at $10,000 parts in a year, But when it went to 30, 40, 50, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 850,000, somewhere in there I should have been happy. But I wasn't because it's a state of mind. It doesn't last long if you're building happiness off from achievement and money. And that's why I've said to you in the videos, and been scoffed at sometimes, never chase the money because it will not give you that fulfillment feeling inside of happiness. It won't. If money was going to provide so much happiness, why are all these billionaires and singers and songwriters and the ones that are making millions and billions not happy? Because it's a state of mind. And none of them along the way enjoyed the journey. The achievement came. It was short-lived as far as happiness. So it's back to the grind because I got to do it even better and harder to become happy. And what I'm trying to tell you is, with it being a state of mind, we can change that state of mind. Of being happy today. And you're scratching your head, right? Going, oh. How can we be happy today? All right. I've talked about this in a couple of videos as well. Having a near-death experience. Amos, you got to help me on this. You take a good look at your life. A totally different view than when you were just running with the dogs, right? Trying to build a business. You're taking a good look at your life and you're saying, I need to change some things. and I almost didn't make it. So I've got to do as much as I can, because that amount of time I'm here on earth is short, and for some it's shorter. But we make all these new goals, and one of the biggest things to me was relationships. I had lots of friends, family, and that. But I never really fostered the relationship side of it because I was too busy. And when something like that, a near-death experience, somebody telling you you have cancer, and you do chemo and radiation, and you come out and you ring the bell. When you have heart problems and you have a triple bypass, and you were only weeks, maybe months, of not making it if you didn't go and have the procedure done. In a car accident that you walked away, people will take a good recollection of where they are in life. And of course, after you start down, that starts fleeting again. How do I make myself happy today? And that is just simply looking at what really is important in life, having a purpose greater than yourself. I talk about how my faith of God has helped me come through everything from early ages of car accidents. I should have been killed in a mining accident, but yet I survived. I should have died because of cancer, but I survived. There had to have been someone greater than me wanting me here. And I even tried taking my own life when I was in my 30s and survived when I shouldn't have. But all of that kind of gave me a greater sense in purpose. Why does God want me here? And for the longest time, I didn't understand. And I can remember somebody telling me, if you're still here on earth, you either need to learn something, or you need to teach something to help somebody. By showing your struggles to them, to show them that there is another side. When I encounter a person that has been diagnosed with cancer, I know the feelings that you get when you first hear the word cancer. And I know all the... all of a sudden now life is getting short, right? Or if they don't think their life is worth living. I know where they're coming from. I know what they're drawing from. And I can show that there is another side. You have to have compassion for other people and a purpose greater than yourself. Damn it. You want to achieve happiness, that state of mind? Foster relationships with other people around you. Learn to laugh again. And be happy. When you first get up in the morning, you're like, oh, and you trudge around. You make your coffee if you have coffee. For you guys that drink soda in the morning, Mountain Dew is for the caffeine. Both the same, right? But why are some people like, oh my God, I gotta go to work? And other people are happy to start of a new day and sun's shining. And what is taking place in both of those people? It's because one person has decided to be happy and the other person has found a reason to complain about everything. Two separate people, but two very alike people. The state of mind is being pissed and angry all the time. And the other person's state of mind is, I'm going to be happy and enjoy life. Because life is short. And if God let me get up this morning and, stand on my 2 feet, then praise Jesus, right? And you have to look forward to going and doing the things throughout the week that are on your list. You know how things where you think that they're overwhelming and then they end up being nothing, and you've spent all that time and you're pissed because you spent all that time worrying about it, and it ended up being something that either was out of your control or it was stupidity on your part of being in that state of mind. How many? I know I've done that numerous times. And the other thing is we try to base our happiness off other people's happiness. And that's always short-lived too, right? Relationships, having and fostering relationships is one thing. But when you're trying to live through somebody else and their happiness, it doesn't usually work either, right? So what can we do today to make us more happy? Easy. Be happy. Get up in the morning and be happy that you're up. Look at the bright side of things. I love watching the sunrise in the morning. But I also love to sit and listen to the rain hitting the tin roof. So if it's one or the other, it's still a positive. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy having a purpose of going somewhere and doing something, right? And interacting with people. And I also know that if I have a bad interaction with a customer because they're pissed, that it's just a moment in time, right? We talked about that yesterday. You could have 100 customers and only one's pissed, and we'll focus on that one that's pissed instead of the 99 that are happy with what we do. And where do you want to focus? That's the key. Where do you want to focus? And I used to focus on the one pissed off, and try to figure out how to make it right. Instead of just saying it's God's plan. You can't please everybody. And you cannot control things that are outside your control. You can't change people. That's up to God and that person. Years ago, I had a therapist, and she said, I want you to do a test, because happiness was fleeting, right? So I want you to do a test, Eric. I want you to, when you're out and about, smile and genuinely smile, because it gives you endorphins. Smile at other people and see what reaction you get. And I thought she was full of crocka, you know what. But I told her I'd do it, so I did it. I started smiling at people. And the response I got back was a smile. Even for people that looked like they weren't having a very good day. If I just smiled. And I get 90% of the time, I get a smile back. The other 10%, they were so busy focusing on what was going wrong today that they just didn't even realized I had smiled at him. But you do that. And, you ever that pay it forward. Or you've helped somebody. And in turn, all of a sudden, somebody's willing to help you. Again, it's all a state of mind. Today, you can be happy. I'm telling you right now. If you decide you want to be happy, today you will be happy. It's all on where you want to focus. So on that note, you guys go out and just try to smile when you come around other people and the laugh. You got friends that will laugh at anything and that really aren't that funny, but they're so corny, you have to laugh with them because it's contagious. Yeah. They've figured it out. They see fun in everything. And we can learn a lot from them. On that note, you guys have a great Saturday, and we'll catch you here possibly for the Sunday sermon. I don't know. But be happy.